Battery's not bad.
Oh, I was touching it, not bad.
Okay. Tissue.
What is it?
Battery, let's see.
Oh, I was touching it.
Hey, go get something to wipe this.
I'm using salt from a salt lamp or something.
That's what happens when the battery goes.
Well, we need the batteries in there. It's gonna reset every time we turn the thing on.
Oh, you can. Go look in the, I think there's more batteries on this shelf. Here, put this in the truck. I don't know if it's gonna work with the batteries in there.
They were working before.
It's
Oh, right.
Okay. Today is stretch and strength. So a little bit of strength, a little bit of slow mixture class. So if you have the yoga blocks, we're going to play a lot with the yoga blocks. If you have a strap, you can have a band. Grab it. You don't have to have it. It's just fun to play with. If you do not have blocks and you have something that you can use as a replacement, you need two. So just grab something that looks like a block that can hold your weight, because we're actually going to play on them. So if you're not comfortable starting in crocodile, please begin in child's. Otherwise, come on down to crocodile pose. I just got my mat really dirty. That's okay. Come on down to crocodile pose on your stomach. One hand on top of the other, forehead down. Really shimmy the hips, loosen, soften, relax into the ground. Notice what comes up in this pose. See if you can bring a little more softness around the face and the shoulders and the neck. See if you can soften your breath a little more. And then see if you can bring a little focus. If you're in child's pose, please bring like a fist on top of another right on that forehead. Just so you have that contact point. Just bring a little awareness to this contact point. See if you can start to soften into this space. Just starting to bring all of your focus right to this point in the center of your forehead. Notice a little sensation here, a little physical touch. Maybe you can feel the warmth of your hands. Place all of your awareness, all of your focus right at this point. And then start to soften your focus, as if slowly expanding from this point into the center of the brain. Just give a moment to notice what is present here, as if greeting yourself where you're at. You have a moment to be able to plant a little seed of intention, a little truth vow here, an intention, a mantra, something you're coming back to whenever you get distracted. Make it short, precise, and in positive tense. For example, if I went to work with self-worth, I would say, I am worthy. If I simply want to stay present throughout class, I am present. And then we're going to begin to move and breathe. Nice and slow and gentle at first. So thinking about lifting our shoulders, bringing our hands and arms wherever our shoulders are comfortable. And we're going to inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, lower. Maybe even keeping the eyes closed, trying to have a real internal experience. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, lower. Starting to find the muscles along the back line, all of the back line. Trying not to over squeeze the glutes. Trying to find all of the muscles from the shoulders down to the heels. Maybe lift the fingertips, maybe even the toes as we rise. Trying to find even use of the muscles, not clenching, not gripping, just engaging and lifting, breathing and moving. And then bring it down, bring the hands ahead of the shoulders, fingertips down. Take the neck to wherever is comfortable. For some people, if you have a tight neck, you're going to bring your forehead down and try and let your neck relax as much as possible. We're going to inhale, lift arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift right arm, left leg. Exhale, lower. So opposite arm, opposite leg. Lift and lower. Still moving with our breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Notice any gripping. Notice any compensation patterns that happen. Maybe you push down into the opposite hand. Just notice. Have an internal experience. Notice what your body is doing. And then bring the forearms down. Bring the elbows a little closer to the shoulders. And we're going to lift our shoulders up and pull our hands like we're trying to pull our chest through our shoulders. Not too firm. We're going to turn and look towards the right foot and then turn and look towards the left. Just starting to have a little freedom in this back. Starting to just try and feel your shoulders, feel your arms. And then return down to crocodile pose. Shimmy to loosen and soften and notice. Find your breath. Tuck the toes. Bring the hands in near the shoulders, not too close. We're going to lift the stomach like we're trying to lift the tailbone a little bit off the ground. Teeny bit. Engage. Press into the arms. So we're going to lift our shoulders just a little until we feel the chest fire up. From here, hold or little pulses. So start to build a little strength way down at the bottom of a push-up position. And then press hard all the way back to child's pose. And forward to a tabletop position, and we're going to move and breathe here. Inhale, tabletop, and exhale, child's. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale towards child's. Make these shapes more of your own shapes, just feeling your body warming up, connecting with your breath. Making this more of a meditative experience rather than finding exact positions for your body. And then bring it back to a tabletop position. We're going to put the weight into the left arm. Take the right arm round in a big slow circle. Switch sides, left arm round in a big slow circle. Take a couple of rounds. Just kind of feeling your arms nice and slow. Open up the upper back and shoulders. And then bring it back to tabletop. Take the right heel towards the ceiling. Be bent. We're going to take little pumps. And then bring the right knee towards the right shoulder. Hold and hover. Flex the foot. Engage the leg. Ow. Little pumps with the knee to the ceiling. If you want to make it more challenging, you're going to take the heel out and lift the heel towards the ceiling. Engage your shoulders. Take the tension out of the neck. And bring that back. Lower the toes and press through the heel. Lower the left, right knee. Bring the left heel to the ceiling. Little pumps. Engaging the leg. And then bring the left knee towards the left shoulder. Hold and hover. And then little pumps of the knee to the ceiling. Heel long, leg long, lifting with the heel if you want to make it more challenging.
More challenging.
Huh?
More challenging.
Then bring the leg even with the hip, lower the toes, press through the heel. Bring the left knee to meet the right. Sink the hips back and find a child's. Just kind of connecting, feeling your body on the ground. Find your breath. Find your lower back, find your shoulders. Scanning. Whenever we come to these pause poses, doing a little check-in, feeling where you're at. And then pressing, tucking the toes, pressing back to a down dog pose. And taking whatever movement you feel to warm up your down dog, bending your knees, taking your heels side to side, whatever feels good, having a little experience in your own body. And then bend the knees fairly deeply, enough so that you feel strong and steady in the pose. Bring the weight onto the left hand. See if you can make a circle with the right arm, just as we did from tabletop. Bring it back. Switch sides. Take it nice and slow. Squeeze the stomach a little to help you stay a little more stable. And then land the hands. Get really strong in your down dog hands and arms, and maybe change the shape. So maybe take your hands a little bit wider, turn your hands out. Just change the way your shoulders are holding the weight so that you're not always in the exact same position. Change it up a little, hold for strength, and then slowly lift the right leg. Now take nice slow circles with the right leg, slow as you can, nice and strong and controlled. Reverse the circle. Then lift the right leg to three-legged dog. Bring the right knee out and toward the right elbow. Bending the knee, hold and hover. You want to make it harder, you're going to lengthen the leg, and then we're going to bring the heel towards the right hand and back. Small movement, not easy. Gonna bring a little bit more weight onto the arms and shoulders, and then down dog. A little bit of weight over, down dog. And then lower the right leg, lower the knees, find a child. Maybe take the hands behind you, palms up, just to let your shoulders really slump and relax and hang. And pressing into the hands. Go back to down dog. Okay. Having a wardrobe issue today. Slowly lift the left leg and then take circles. Slow, controlled, using your muscle circles with the left leg. Use your muscles. Restrict the movement. Feel which muscles are engaged at each angle of the movement. And reverse the circle. Lift a three-legged dog. Bend the knee, bring the knee out and wide towards the left elbow. And then we're gonna either straighten it or keep it bent. Bring it towards the right, left elbow and back. A little bit of weight change onto the arms and back. And then lower the left leg, lower the knees, untuck the toes, child's pose. This time, leave the arms long, flip the palms up, and then pull like you're pulling your hands towards you without letting them move. And then back to down dog. Find the stillness of down dog this time. Connect with your head below your heart. Find your breath. Turn your world upside down. Take the tension out of your neck. Turn the right foot toes down. So place the front of the foot down on the ground and stretch the front of the foot. So play with the movement of the foot, just feeling them open, feeling the top of your foot, opening up the top of your foot. And then switch sides, toes under. Just feel the front of the left foot. Bring that down. Look towards the hands and either jump or hop or take 1,000 tiny steps. Maybe you want to try and float up towards the hands, landing nice and light. Find your feet underneath your hips, and if you have a block and want to make the ground a little closer, go ahead and grab it. Take the tension out of the neck and begin to just experience the back of the legs, maybe coming to the ball of one foot and the other. Maybe bending the knees and sending them towards straight. Just starting to feel, feels good in your legs. Maybe you want to take the hips side to side. And then settle in, get a nice stance, bend the knees. Inhale, lift up high. Exhale, bring the prayer down to your heart. Connecting with our breath. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, prayer to our heart. Couple of rounds. Bring your hands to prayer. Bring the weight onto the left leg. Slowly bring the right knee towards the chest. Active leg. Hold and balance. Send the right knee past the left and land in a high lunge. Find your base. Inhale, lift, lengthen, lift arms up. Exhale, bring arms back, sweep them back. Inhale, lift, torso, reach. Exhale, sweep. And then sweep away and hold. Option to use the band here. So if you're gonna grab a band, you're gonna wrap it around your arms, lower arms. You're gonna engage and you're gonna push in. You don't have to use the band. It's just interesting, a different way to engage the muscles. So bringing the weight onto the front leg a little more, torso strong. take the arms behind you, press into the band if you have it. And we're going to bend the arms towards us and then bring them back. Bring the hands towards the hips and then straighten up the arms. Notice compensation patterns. What's your back doing? What's your neck doing? Check in. Try to keep this in the arms and shoulders. Squeezing the stomach to keep the torso balanced. And then if you have the band, let it go. Inhale, up, high lunge. Exhale, prayer to our heart. Hold. Bring the weight forward onto the front leg. Maybe you can pop up the back. Bend the knee. Bring it out and wide this time. Hold it about hip height. Flex the leg. Little pulses. See if you can do it. You're welcome to find a block and hold a block if you're done trying to balance. Bring the knee down, even with the left. Bring it up. Stand up. Bring the heel in towards center. So now strengthening the other way, pulse the heel up. Bring the knee in towards the chest, maybe grab it. Now take an ankle circle nice and slow. And then if you want to go for lengthening the leg, you can hold on to the toes, you can lengthen the leg, you can just hold and hover, holding the leg, or you can use a strap. So lengthening, trying to pull that right hip down and watching for compensation patterns in the back. The back should be pretty soft. Stomach should be engaged. Legs should both be active and strong. Whew. You can open it up, counterbalancing with the left hand. Breathe, enjoy the stretchy break poses. And then bring it down, tap it out. Left and right, tap the feet in, feel the feet. And then center, inhale, arms up overhead, exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale, arms up, exhale, prayer to heart. 2 more times. Bring your prayer to heart and hold. Bring the weight onto the right leg. Bring the left leg up and forward, bend the knee. Slowly bring the knee past the left and come all the way to high lunge. Land your high lunge. We're going to inhale, lengthen, lift the torso. Exhale, sweep away things no longer needed. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sweep. Sweep away and pause. Hold here. This time, rather than using the band, we're going to exhale, open wide, and inhale, open wide. Exhale, push our hands back to our hips. Engaging our arms. So we're not just flying, this is soft, this is flying. We're going to inhale, lengthen and strengthen. Exhale, push back. Take the tension out of the neck. And then bring it back to a regular high lunge. Hands at prayer. Bring the weight onto the right leg. Maybe pop up the back. Whoop. Maybe not. Pop up the back. Bend the knee. Bring the knee wide and even with the hip. Flex the foot. Engage. Little pulses of the knee up. Feel free to use a block or a chair or something to help you balance. Bring it down even with the right knee. Bring it forward. Hold. And then maybe bring it in. Balance. Lengthen the spine. And then option to use a strap. Option to just try and take it out and strengthen. Or if you want the stretchy feeling, you're going to hold. Balance. Take the tension out of the back. And counterbalance with the right, open up to the left. Bring it back, bring it in, ankle circles. And then tap it out. Really tap the balls of the feet, soften the feet, tap, feel the feet. And then center. Inhale, prayer overhead. Exhale down to our heart. Inhale, scoop in fresh. Exhale, bring it into our heart. Time as we come down, bring it down to a baby chair. Find your baby chair. Find the position where your legs are fully engaged, but you're not so far down that this feels overstressed. So squeeze the stomach a little more. Soften the lower back a little more. Make a wise choice about where you are. If you're all the way down and you can't hold this with strength, you're going to regret it. So start to engage the legs like you're pulling the feet apart. See if you can change the way your muscles are engaged. Pull them out apart with your feet. Really engage. We're going to start to lift up onto the balls of the feet, only one at a time. So slowly lift the right heel as slow as you can. Feel every part of the movement, and then bring it down. Slow as you can, left. Left and right, nice and slow. So trying to keep as much of this movement into the legs as possible. Try not to let those hips move left and right. If you need to keep your hands on them to keep an eye on them, use your hands to know what your hips are doing. Watch your lower back. Watch your compensation patterns. And then start to see if you can switch without lowering the heels. So little pulses in the feet. Slower you go, the harder this is. More muscle you're building because you have to find that control. Breathe. Tops of your legs might be burning. Glutes might be burning. And then bring them up and hover. Squeeze the knees in, squeeze the knees out. So not throwing the knees, squeeze in and squeeze out. Control. Bring it back. Slowly lower the heels. Find your mountain pose with your hands of prayer. Find your breath. Soften the legs. Feel where you're at. Interlace the fingers, leaving the index fingers up. Take the hands up overhead. Reach long and tall. And then really, really, really long, a little tilt over to the right. You're really just thinking about pressing the left rib cage left more than compromising the right rib cage. So having an experience on the left rib cage, breathing into that nice open space. bring it back to center. Send the right rib cage right, tilt left. Really opening up the right rib cage. Lengthen. Think about getting longer, longer, longer rather than folding over and crunching the left side. Bring it back to center, hands down to prayer at heart center. Take a little shimmy of the hips, make sure the lower back softens. And then we're going to build some strength backwards. So bring the hands to the lower back, fingertips point down. So we're going to think about engaging those legs as we just did and pushing our hips forward rather than focusing on our back. So bringing our hands for support, start to feel your lower back. And then start to press your hips forward. Press, press, press the hips forward, engage, and then start to send the shoulders back. Watch the head. Try not to just let the skull hang on the cervical vertebrae. Breathe. Imagine defying gravity. Push the hips further forward. Push, 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 push. And then bring it back. Back to neutral. Soften and breathe. And then again, drawing the arms backwards, supporting the back, making sure you're just a little balanced. Fingertips down. Press the hips forward. Press, press, press. And if you want to try a challenge, you're going to lift up the heels, press the hips, then send the shoulders backwards. Try not to grip the ground with your toes. Press the hips, strengthen the stomach. Maybe bending the knees, pressing the hips a little more. And then slow as you can, come on back. Don't use motion. Bring it back to neutral, shimmy the hips, let go. Find your hands at prayer. And send all of your awareness to your low back. See if you can shimmy and soften. And then inhale, prayer overhead. Exhale, swan, dive it down to the ground. Touch the ground. Right foot back, left foot back. Playtime in plank. So lower your knees and find a block next to each hand. So place a block next to each hand. Options for this strength practice. If you want to keep your knees down the whole time, keep your knees down. So find a place where your block feels stable, not on the edge of the mat where it's going to wiggle around because we're going to get up on them. Find your high plank. Step your left hand on, right hand on, left hand down, right hand down. Start moving nice and slow and controlled. Little steps onto your blocks. And then switch the order that you're doing it. Make sure you go right hand up, right hand down, left hand down. Squeezing the stomach. Make sure you're finding muscles to make this movement. If you want to be super crazy, I think Kayla was trying to do it before, you can try and do both. Push up. I can't do it. I don't have the strength for that. But you can, she's got it. You have, oh my gosh. You have to be very strong and very controlled to do that. All right, come up on the blocks. Up, hold, get strong. Little tiny bend in your knees. So we're not locking the legs in any place. We're strong in the legs, long in the back. Bring weight onto left hand, those big circles. Right hand, big circle with the left. Slow, controlled. Notice if this feels any different with a little bit of change in height. Find your breath. It's very hot here. Come back to neutral, lower the knees. Place the forearms down on the block. Send the hips back and take a break first. Let the hands hang loose, the wrists hang loose. Find your breath. Find your center. Going back to tabletop. Slide the blocks back to your feet. Slide your block back right next to your feet, like that. Anyone can imagine what we're gonna do. So same thing that we were just doing, except this time our feet are gonna go on and off. So find your high plank. Find your left foot on, your right foot on. Hold and hover a high plank with your feet lifted. Hold it here. Bend the knees, bring them to a hover. Engage, breathe. Bring right knee down to the ground, left knee down to the ground. Toward the ground, you don't have to tap. Just find a little movement left and right with your feet up on the blocks. Should really change how this works in your core. Lower the knees. Take a little break and keep your feet up on the blocks. Take a little pause, take a little reset. Find your breath. Come on back to your high plank with your feet on the blocks. And then you're going to send your hips back to down dog with your feet on the blocks. You may need to adjust a little. Feel down dog a little bit differently. With your feet on the blocks a little bit wider than they would normally be. And then we're going to inhale forward, high plank. Whoop, exhale backwards. Watch your blocks. Inhale forward, exhale back. Hold a high plank. Bring your right foot over to your left. Bring a little bend to the elbows. Come back. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot over, little bend. Back. Left foot down, right foot over, little bend. Keep going. Do as many as you can, and then do 2 more. Slow and controlled. Little crazy, wonky push-ups. See how many you can do. And then when you're done, bring your knees down. Find a child. Let go. Flip the palms. Really soften the arms. Really soften the shoulders, wiggle the hands, really loosen. Grabbing one of your blocks just to hold on to. You're going to bring the right knee forward, left knee back so that you can come onto the front of the knee. So you're not on the kneecap, you're on the front of the knee. Heel comes towards glute. So either pull the heel towards the glute, one stretch, or push the hand into the foot, other stretch. 2 different stretches, feel the difference. Hold on to your block, lift up. Don't make this anything about the back. So we're not worried about the back. Not worried about the shoulders. Kind of have an experience on the front of the right leg. Breathe. Hot?
Is it very hot, very hot, very hot?
It's not as nice. Lower the right foot slowly. Land it on the ground, front of the right foot down. Pull the foot towards you without letting it move. So now pull, you just pull the hip forward, pull everything forward, lift up, pull forward. And right knee meets left. Left knee slides back until you can be on the front of the knee, just above the knee. And reach back for the left foot. Use your block to lift you up. And make this all about the leg, not about the hips. So we're really thinking about the front of the left leg. We're not sinking into pigeon. We're just stretching the quad. Breathe. Lower the left foot. Place it down on the ground and feel like you're pulling it towards you without letting it move. Bring the left knee to meet right. Bring the torso down. Place the forearms down. We're going to bring right knee towards right elbow. Flex the foot. Left knee towards left elbow. Flex the foot. You may want to change. I'm not going to do it because you're going to see right down my top. But you may want to go sideways along your mat. So that you have a little padding under your knees. Feel free to put any padding under your knees. Once you get here, have an experience. So move your hips forward and back, slow, with control. Engage the legs. Just have an experience. If you move slow and control, you can retain safety around the joints. So move. Feel your hips, feel your inner thighs, feel your legs. You can feel like you're pulling your knees towards each other without letting them move. That can change the engagement of the legs and can change the experience. And you can simply hang out and have a stretchy pose with your head down on a block. Let go. Loosen. Breathe. Slowly wiggle the toes in towards each other. Press into the forearms. Press left hand down, right hand down. Lift the torso up. We're going to tuck the toes and slowly wiggle each knee in towards child. And then find a hip, swing the legs out. Shake the legs. So we're almost done. Little more stretchy. Give the legs a shake. And find left foot on the ground, knee up. You can use the band for this to wrap around your foot if you wish. We're going to press into the band if we have it. Otherwise, we're just going to hold this leg. So if you have the band, you're going to press into it. Lift tall with the spine. Engage the stomach. Lift the leg. Maybe bring the left hand back to counterbalance. Try not to dump into it and round the spine. Bring the right leg slowly open. Back to center. Slowly bring the right ankle over the left. Flex, engage, press down. And then maybe send the hips a little closer to that left foot.
I did something weird in my back.
Were you engaged when you pushed and moved? So you lift and engage, We have a little force. We're applying force around joints here, close to and around. So whenever we apply force, like our body pushing into the ground, that's a force. Like we're pressing. We have to be mindful. So we have to engage the muscles when we move. Engage and lift. Don't just kind of throw your body around because that's when it goes, ooh, force and direction in the wrong way. Oops. And then slowly unravel. Right leg stays down. Set up. Grab the left. You can use the band. Get really tall in the spine. Have an experience with the back of the left leg. One of the things you can do is play with pressing, the sensation of pressing the heel away from you or pulling back the left hip. So see if you can feel like you're pulling that left hip down to the ground and into the ground, locking the femur in place and then having a lengthening experience. Bring it out to the side. Slowly back to center. And bring left ankle over, right knee just over. Flex the foot and engage the muscles. Then adjust the hips. Press the left knee away from you. Engage. Slowly unravel. Make your way down to your back. Bring your knees in. Give your hips a little wiggle. And take your feet up to the ceiling. Wiggle the toes. Spread the feet wide. Just feel the feet above the heart. Breathe. And then just a little bit of lower core work before we finish up. Press the hips into the ground. Really feeling like you're pressing the hips into the ground. Press the rib cage into the ground. You can bring the backs of the arms into the ground. Whole arm down or fingertips towards the ceiling. And we're going to feel like this is a really subtle movement. So we're going to feel like we're lifting the right hip up off the ground and then lifting the left. So little tiny movement. Left hip up, right hip up. Left hip up, right hip up. You should be starting to feel this really close to the hip bone. So little tiny movement. Watch for compensation patterns. So the muscles in your back are bigger than these muscles, so they're going to want to do all the work. Make this movement with that muscle group in the front. Turn off the back. Stop cheating with the arms, huh?
What am I supposed to be doing?
Lift one hip up, one hip up, one hip up.
Can I just lift both?
No, because this is harder. Nice try, though. One. You can imagine pushing your heel up, but it's really about lifting one hip bone, the other hip bone. Really tiny, subtle.
I'm not using any muscles in front of my hips.
What, you're using your ass, I can see that. Some people have very large muscles that refuse not to do the work. Press the hips down into the ground. Press, press, press. Lift right hip and keep left hip pressing. Left.
I'm still using my core like here, not in front of my hips, and I don't know.
Bring your knees a little further over. Feet up. No. One. It's harder for your butt. Yeah, I can see you're still. This is what you're doing. Okay, ready? Okay, I'm gonna show you what I want you to do. Left, right,
Yeah.
left, right. I lost it. There. Left, right, left, right. Okay, this is what you're doing.
I don't think I can do it any other way.
Your hip bone.
Yeah, I know.
Put your fingers here.
Yes.
Put your fingers right here.
Yes.
This is the muscle you want to use, the V, right here, right?
Yes.
Find your fingers there, use that muscle. Have you got it?
I don't know. I'm watching both of my hips.
Your knees in. I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder with Kaylee when we're done.
I'm just lifting both of my hips. It's Shavasana time.
Bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug, wiggle your toes, feel your feet. Start to land on the ground. And then make a decision for yourself about where you want to be in your final resting pose. You can bring your feet down to the ground a little bit wider than the hips and let the knees come in together. Let the hips soften and let that little low back curve kind of soften and loosen. This doesn't feel super restorative and amazingly restful, don't do it. Take your feet long if that feels better for you. If that doesn't feel amazingly restful, find another pose. Maybe you want to roll around onto your side. Maybe you prefer a child's pose. Maybe you prefer face down. Make a decision about where you're at. Find your own resting pose. There are many benefits to all the different poses. Pick the one that you want to use for your body. Pick where your body is at today. Start to soften into the ground. Start to do a body scan from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head. As if you could check in with each and every cell one by one. And tell them to soften and loosen. And let go. Check in with your breath. See if you can loosen control of even your breath. The card I picked from the Affirminators today was clarity. Stopping to listen to my inner self, I can easily separate my intuition from my mental chatter. The clarity of my intuition is a sweet, simple fruit that tastes familiar. And the mental chatter is a confusing, bitter rind that I shall peel off and chuck into the garbage or compost heap if your mental chatter happens to be organic. So imagine you could peel below the layers of the mental chatter and find the inner self. And like that visual of being an orange. So imagine we could peel off this tough outer skin. We could peel off the bitter rind. We could begin to soften into the sweet and juicy center. The place that feels like home. The thoughts and the emotions, they're filters for our environment. Protective layers even, just like the layers of an orange. Inside is our bliss layer. And we can rest here and take a little break from the mental chatter. And take a break from the emotions and take a break from the worries. Finding our center. Letting go. Have a lot of time and you wish to take more time in your resting pose, please do so. Take as much time as your body needs if you have it. If you only have 60 minutes today, we're coming up on the 60-minute mark. So begin to take little small movements and adjustments, letting your body awaken softly and slowly, and gradually making your way over to a fetal position, curling up in a ball on whatever side is calling to you. Landing back in the room, back in present moment. Thinking about that center being our spiritual part, our bliss center, our spark of life. Connecting into this special part of ourselves, the truest part, the essential part of our nature. And thinking perhaps about some of the rind that we've built up around it, some of the distortions, some of the stories we tell ourselves that maybe we can let go of. And as the card says, maybe peeling them off and throwing them in the compost heap. Knowing that these layers have served a purpose, thanking them for their protection, and being ready to let them go. And return to a seated position. Bring your hands to prayer at heart space. Bring our left and right sides to meet in front of our hearts, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. you spend the rest of your day peeling off the hard rind and getting to know your sweet and juicy center. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.